Hello and welcome to the programme. 2014 was a significant year in the development of volunteerism in Ukraine. The Revolution of Dignity gave an impulse for the formation of a number of volunteer movements which have become a vivid example of the high level of civic consciousness of Ukrainians. And now the volunteer movement has evolved into a very complex one, providing the Ukrainian army, for example, with everything it needs. Now, to talk more about volunteer initiatives in Ukraine in general, we welcome to the studio today Jesper Lindholt. He is last year's president of the Kyiv Multinational Rotary Club. Hello, Jesper. Thanks for coming in. So first, can you tell us a bit more about your organisation for people who perhaps don't know so much? So what are your goals and what sort of projects are you involved in?
Yes. Well, we are Kyiv Multinational Rotary Club, and we are part of the International Rotary, which is 32,000 clubs and 1.2 million members across the world. There are 50 clubs in Ukraine, and we are the English-speaking one out of 7 in Kyiv. We are about 15 members, so we're a small club. We were founded in 2006. We have about a third Ukrainian members, and the rest are expats coming through for shorter or longer periods.
Yeah. And can you tell us a bit more about the different projects that you're involved in? Because I looked on your Facebook site and you have projects all over Ukraine. So perhaps could you give an example to the people who are watching about perhaps one or two of the projects that you do?
Yes. Our focus areas are kids, education and health. And we've done projects like we have equipped hospitals here in Kyiv with very specific equipment, ventilators and brain scanners. We've done previously. Over the last couple of years, we've done a very, very big project in Donbas where we have equipped 77 schools with computers that we bought at a military auction in Germany.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. And you brought them over?
We brought them 13 tons, two full trucks, and that we rebuilt with volunteers and put out in the schools.
Yeah. I can imagine actually that this is so important for schools, because a lot of the ones who are sort of on or near the front line, they have bullet holes in the walls, perhaps they don't get the resources that they need. So these computers that you bring make such a difference. You saw that?
Yeah, well, I was out a couple of times, been to 15 of those schools, and it was very impressive, and it made a bigger impact than I had expected. One thing is the computer itself, but I think just the feeling of somebody caring about them. That you have most schools have maybe a third or a fourth of the kids left. Most of the teachers are still there, but 3/4 of the kids left for other parts of the country, or maybe left the country. So only the ones that have honestly very limited resources.
Yeah, and they probably had the really old computers as well, with the big screens and the dust all over them.
Big screens that they got 15 or 20 years ago, and so if you're a kid out there and you hear bombs, and then your feeling of opportunity in life is severely limited. Yeah. And we made an impact. The fact that they receive these computers gives them a feeling that there's a world out there that actually cares about them.
Yeah, and there's opportunity as well. Like if you have a computer and the internet, then you can find out more about the opportunities, if you're young, that are available to you out there, perhaps that you wouldn't find in some sort of local bureau or something like this. Maybe.
No, it makes a real difference. It opens a world to the kids.
Yeah, and you don't just work along the front line, but you work in other parts of Ukraine as well. Certain kids who go from the front line to the Carpathians, for example.
Yes. We took a group of kids. We took 60 kids from 6 schools that we had given computers. We took them to a 10-day IT camp in the Carpathians, where they received computer training and they did fun stuff in the afternoon, English training.
And you're an IT entrepreneur yourself. Yes. Were you involved in the training?
No, the training itself was done by Code Club UA, which is an organization that we've worked with. Colleagues of mine from the office brought down the computers and set them up, and
that's great. And I can imagine that actually a lot of these Ukrainian volunteer organizations are very helpful to the work that you do? Like, do you work quite actively with these different organizations to reach your goals?
We have great synergy with Ukrainian organizations. In the area of health, we receive a container every second month of equipment, hospital equipment from Canada that we distribute through a local organization. But the organization we work most with is the Initiativa J+, which has helped us with the computer project and other smaller projects around. It's difficult for us being foreigners to understand all the different problems that you can run into in importing stuff and.
Yeah, exactly. It must be quite a lot of paperwork, especially if you're bringing 13 tons of computers.
Yes, yes. And every piece is documented, the whole flow from the border until it's with the school.
Yes, yeah. And can you tell us a bit more about your fundraising as well? I mean, the different events that you put on, because I saw on your Facebook page, I was a bit annoyed about this, to be honest, that recently you had a beer tasting event. And a few of my friends actually went to this. So what other events can people who are perhaps in Kyiv or perhaps coming to Kyiv get involved in to help raise funds for your organization?
Yes. Well, Rotary is, well, we're a charity organization, but more than that, we're an organization of friendship. And we enjoy each other's company, and we enjoy having a good time with other people also. And drinking beer is an excellent excuse for that, and for raising money. So every 3 months we do what we call a beer festcheck, which is a beer tasting event where you get to try 8 beers and have finger food. And typically for 500 hryvnia in one of the beer pubs, special beer pubs around the city.
And people can find out more information on your Facebook?
On Facebook, yes.
You've been actually in Ukraine for about 12 years now and been involved in different types of charity work. So how do you think that volunteerism has actually changed, especially since the revolution as well? Because when the revolution happened, all these different volunteer organizations just came out of nowhere.
Yes.
So how has it changed, do you think, in the past half a decade? Have you seen any trends in volunteerism?
Well, I was very little involved. Well, only through Rotary until the revolution, and we didn't feel the presence of other charity organizations, Ukrainian volunteer organizations as such. But Maidan and the events that followed really upended the whole society, and it gave people an understanding that they could make a difference themselves. Like the Initiativa J+ that we work with, they started out as an ambulance or a hospital service in the Lutheran church during Maidan, and they were fixing up people who got beat up in Maidan. They were fixing them up, and they evolved into a formal organization, and now they're doing bigger projects.
And am I right as well that you actually took some ambulances, or you made them into ambulances? You took some vehicles from Denmark, is that right? And you took them to the front line as well?
Yeah. Well, that has nothing to do with Rotary, because Rotary is a very peaceful and non-aligned organization. But with Initiativa J+, it started out that in the foreign community here in Kyiv, I raised 60,000 euro in 3 days for buying 3 ambulances.
60,000 euros?
Yes, in 3 days, right after, well, no, this was in 14, when the war started, and just before Debaltseve. And so we brought 3 ambulances over, and that worked well. And then Valentina Varava from J+ came to me and said, "Hey, can we do this again?" And she found ways of getting money, and I would know how to buy the cars, and friends and family would be driving these cars over. So we brought 42 cars over that mostly serve as ambulances in the red zone, off-road, not on the asphalt, but from the front line itself up to asphalt.
Which is key, really.
Which is where they didn't have any equipment, and still don't have, because the ambulances that the army bought were Chinese built and get stuck in the mud. And well, before we wrap up, could you tell us a bit more about how we can find out more information about your organization? You're on Facebook, is that right? Yes, Facebook is the place to go. That's where you see what's happening. We meet every Thursday at the Radisson in Yaroslavl Val.
In the center of Kyiv?
In the center of Kyiv, yes. And everybody's welcome. Meetings are open. We meet at 7:30, and you're welcome to contact in advance, because sometimes we're not out there because we're scouting for new places for our beer fest checks.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. So the Kyiv Multinational Rotary Club.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming into our studio today. It was great to talk to you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That was Jesper Lindholt, the once president of the Kyiv Multinational Rotary Club. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.